Today we're out here taking a look at the new Velotric Nomad 2. You can see the Nomad on the top right there. Sleek looking Velotric graphic going down the side. This is the sage green and the size large on this one. Other important stickers on here. You can see the UL certification. I'll pull the battery out in just a minute. A lot of e-bikes will say that they're UL certified, but they don't actually have that sticker on there. Another cool thing you can see on the back right there, this bike is actually designed in California. And one of the cool things about these Velotric bikes is that there's over 1,000 different local bike shops that sell and service these things, which means you can go into a bike shop, make sure you pick the right color, the right size, get this thing fitted up just right, and have that bike shop if you need to service it in the future or deal with any returns or warranty issues you might have. Now you can see right here, driving this bike is that 750 watt rear hub motor right there that provides up to 90 Newton meters of torque. 505 pounds is the payload capacity on this thing, and you could actually hook up a trailer and tow up to 1,000 pounds if that's something you're into. Let's take a look at the battery real quick. One-handed, don't drop it, don't drop it. Ugh. So you can see right there on the battery, that UL certification. That's super important, you guys. A lot of e-bikes say they're UL certified, but you'll only actually see the UL label on there on the charger, not actually on the battery itself. You can see on this battery right here, 48 volt, 691 watt hour battery, so pretty decent battery on there. And this thing's supposed to give you up to 65 miles of range. You know what, you guys, I'm just now realizing that I just pulled that battery out while the bike was still powered on. So let's put this thing back in and see if I just messed it up. I love that. I love how that clicks in. Okay, real quick, you guys, let me just point this out. Other bikes, like, you'll go to put the battery in and you'll have to kind of hold the key and rotate the key to get that battery to actually stay in, but that just clicked in super easy right there. Pop the key out. Let's power this thing on, see if I messed anything up. Power button. Boom. Power's right back on, no issues. I've been riding this thing for 5.7 miles right now in power level 5 in boost mode right there, and using mostly the throttle assisted, so you know, trying to drain the battery as much as I can. I'm still only at 84%, and I was also a little bit impatient when I was charging this thing up, didn't wait for it to get to 100%. So, you know, 5 miles, 84, from 90% down to 84, so I have no doubts on those claimed ranges. Now at the time of filming this bike cost about $2,099. For that you get free shipping. This right here is the high step model. They do have a step through if you want that. This bike comes in size regular for people who are 5'2" to 5'11", or it'll come in a size large like this for people like me that are in between that 5'10" to 6'5" range. This is the color sage green, like I kind of already said. They also have this one in a midnight blue. Another cool thing to point out on this bike is that it has that Apple Find My. You can see right there on the bike to be able to locate your bike. Don't have to worry about this thing getting stolen. Shifting on this bike is handled by that 8-speed Shimano drivetrain. Pedaling it, you got these cranks that are going to give you both torque and cadence sensors. That means that you can go into a kind of a more softer, easier cadence pedal if you're just trying to take it easy, or you can really put some torque into those pedals and it's going to give you a ton of power output out of that 750 watt motor back there. Up front, you got a 100mm RST fork that I will say looks pretty dang good. You can see the 32 right there for the 32mm stanchions. Stopping this bike, you got 2-piston Shimano brakes and, oh, I'm sorry, Tektro brakes. So 2-piston Tektro brakes, big 203 rotor up front and a 180 rotor in the rear. The bike came with this luggage rack. It's not an extra accessory I had to buy. You can see that thing will hold up to 66 pounds right there. And another cool thing about this luggage rack is, let me turn on the headlights. There's a headlight button right here. You can turn on the headlight. Let's get that turned on. Boom. You can see the headlights on. And not only does it have a headlight, but it has a tail light. You can see this kind of wired in, and a tail light. that is also a brake light. Let me do this real quick. Brake light, as well as turn signal indicator. See that for the right? Boom. And then you see the left. That's pretty cool, man. Turn signals, brake lights, bunch of different little features on this Velotric bike that you don't see on other e-bikes. Also, the seat post right here is worth mentioning. This bike has got what they call their Comfort Max Plus design. So this has kind of like a little bit of a suspension seat post, just enough cushion to kind of take away the impact from any of those bumps. And the stem rotates up and adjusts to be able to get you set up at just the right riding height to really make this bike comfortable to ride. Combine that with these ergonomic grips right here that have a little bit extra padding for your hands and that huge, wide, comfortable saddle, and you got a bike that is super plush even when you're going over more bumpy terrain. Bump super smooth with that fork. That fork's definitely working. Got those big, beefy Kenda tires. Let's see, what size are those? 26-inch wheels, 26 right there by 4. So 4-inch wide Kenda tires, good amount of grip on there, and a good quality brand. For some of you, that might be all the information you need. That's why I included it right here up in the front of the video, not to waste your time. But if you guys want to know a couple tips and tricks I have about unboxing this bike, building it up, and then your first ride breaking it in, keep watching. We'll get to that right now. Getting the Velotric bikes unboxed and built up is pretty dang simple. It comes with everything you need right here in this box. Even has a toolkit with all the tools that you're gonna need in it. And one thing that Velotric, I forgot that they have this. They actually have this wall mount it comes with. You can mount this up to the wall, screw it into the wall for your charger, to be able to hook your charger up. So it just makes it a lot easier and keeps your garage a little bit cleaner when you wanna charge your e-bike. Honestly, the hardest part about building this bike up is getting it out of the box. This thing is pretty dang heavy. I just cut the box open, but that might not be recommended because you're gonna wanna keep that box in case you need to break this bike down and transport it, or if you wanna send it back for any reason. From there, the first thing I like to do is go ahead and get that front wheel removed. This is where you're either gonna wanna kinda start taking pictures as you go along to see how they had this bike packaged up. Once again, like I said, in case you ever need to repackage this yourself, but the build is pretty simple. Get that front tire and that front fender removed, and then you move on to carefully removing all the packaging. You might want to do a little bit better job than I did, not tearing everything apart, just in case you ever want to box this thing back up. And make sure you guys pay close attention to all these little tags you remove. These are gonna have like useful information on it, maybe even some QR codes to help you with the setup and the use of your new Velotric bike. Now I just gotta clean up this mess I made, and then the rest of the bike assembly is actually gonna go pretty quick. One thing a little bit different I'm noticing on this is that the bars, right? You wanna use that crosshair right there to kind of line these bars up. But I was like, dang, those bars are tilted like way down and forward. Well, first of all, I can rotate the grips around, but I forgot that this stem actually is like this Comfort Max stem to where you can adjust it to come up to get right to your right riding level. So it's gonna be awesome to get it set just right, but it's gonna take just a little bit longer to get these bars kind of dialed in. This is the part, just a personal technique. It can be kind of a pain getting that front wheel lined up just right. Sometimes it's easier just to flip the bike over real quick. It's gonna make it a lot easier just to get that front wheel in there and make sure everything's lined up just right. Get the brake rotor slid into the caliper, get those bolts in there, front wheel cap nut. Everything's nice and labeled, makes it really easy. I've had other bike brands, they send you all the bits and pieces, but nothing's labeled, so then you're like, okay, what does this go to? All right, that's rubbing a little bit. Here goes a little technique I like to use for that front brake caliper. So, find the bolts on the bottom right there. Loosen those up. Let me show you guys what I'm talking about. 2 little bolts right here. So, loosen those up enough to where that front caliper is kind of moving around, wiggling around like that. And then what you're gonna do, filming by yourself, always resetting up the camera. All right, what you're gonna do is, here goes the front brake. You can see the front brake, you know, hydraulic hose run into this front brake lever. So you're gonna go ahead and spin that, squeeze it. Now that locks that caliper in place right over the rotor. And then go ahead and tighten it down. And let's see if this works. Okay, it's mostly working. There's a little bit of a rub right there. So from there, use technique number 2, which is do the same thing, loosen the bolts back up, spin it, stop it. I'm only gonna tighten 1 bolt. I'm just gonna tighten this bottom one right here. So I'm leaving that top one loose enough to adjust it. Ooh, I can push it over right there. I can hear it spinning smooth. And I'm gonna go ahead and tighten that up slowly so you don't move the brake caliper over. Boom. Got that thing spinning nice and smooth. It's the little things, right? It's the little tips. Leave a comment down below. Do you guys appreciate this? Or would you rather me just shut up and build the bike? Let me know. All right, so back out here on the trail, I got a couple tips for taking this thing out on your first ride. First of all, I would bring some of those Allen wrenches with you in case you need to adjust anything. Maybe you didn't get a bolt just tight, or maybe you want to adjust some of those levers on your handlebars. That first ride is really time to get things dialed in. Second of all, the brakes on this bike. Hydraulic brakes, right? You can see the brake lever right there. You can see the hydraulic hose that runs down to the pistons. Hydraulic brakes, either some sort of organic or metal pads inside here, and metal brake rotors. So in order to get those brakes working right, you're gonna want to bed these brakes in. You can kind of already see right now some of those little marks and lines along that brake rotor, and that's that brake material that you kind of want to wear onto that rotor. You want to wear off this cleanly polished like surface and put some of that brake material onto those rotors. And the way you do that is you be careful not to come to a full stop when you first ride your bike. When you take it out, you want to get it up to full speed, slowly apply those brakes and come down to about a walking speed, and then get back up to full speed, slowly apply those brakes, get back down to a walking speed. Do that about 5 to 10 different times until you really start to see some of that brake pad material onto those rotors. You'll notice the brakes stopping better, being a little bit more powerful, and you'll make sure that you get these brakes kind of bed in and working just right. All right, max speed test. Let's go ahead and go. We're gonna do trigger, throttle only right here, no pedaling. So let's go ahead. Power level 5, boost mode, not pedaling at all. hitting 20, 21 miles per hour is what it tops out at. And it got up to it pretty fast, and I'm not pedaling at all. All right, let's come back to a stop. Now, we're gonna go ahead and start pedaling. Drop it down into a slightly lower gear. Pedaling gets up to speed a little bit faster. Still topping out. Hitting 22 miles per hour. I can feel the assistance kind of dropping out once I got to 20 miles per hour. 22. 23. Woo! All right. 23 miles per hour is able to get up to on this flat road pedal assist mode. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you made it this far, now's a good time to like, subscribe, drop a comment down below. Let me know if I missed anything, any other questions you might have. See ya.